Hey guys, welcome back to Foil Fridays. This is Tucker from Matt Kiteboarding, and today we're going to talk to you about two of our favorite Duotone hydrofoil boards, the Pace and the Free. These two boards, as you can tell, in the 4'3" and 4'1" sizes are fairly similar, but also have some key differences that we wanted to talk to you about today. I'll also talk to you about, kind of who these boards are for and why we like them so much. As with all of our videos, go ahead and click in the eye icon in the upper right hand corner of the screen. That's going to take you to our Foil Boarding Knowledge Center, which is actually pretty navigable now, so jump in there and check it out. Let us know what you think, and that's going to get you more information written, as well as some photos and links to products in our website. So go ahead and jump in there and follow along. So we'll start with the Pace, as this is more of a traditional hydrofoil board for kiteboarding. In 4'3", it's large enough for your average intermediate rider, but also small enough to be still lots of fun and maneuverable. The swing weight, as we call it, is pretty reduced, so you can still whip it around and feel quite light on your feet with this board. Although on a lighter wind day too, it's really not going to let you down too much. The deck is very flat, so that's going to allow you to move your feet around fluidly without interrupting the foil too much, but also engage your toes and heels for aggressive maneuvers when you're ready to do that. The rocker line is very flat underneath your feet with just a slight flip in the nose. So this is by no means a bar newbie beginner board. New rider could learn on it, but it's going to stab into the water a little bit more than a larger, more rockered out board would. So maybe a little bit harder to learn on than some other choices. Looking at the bottom contours of the board, you can tell there's a hole in this board, we would call it, or a convex bottom rather than concave. That really allows the water to shed off and stick less to the water as you're coming up on foil, as well as deflect water outwards when you're coming down, so you're not crashing down onto that board in a real aggressive way. It does come with a track system, which means this board is rideable with any plate or track system hydrofoil, depending, as long as it's on a 90mm spacing, which is every foil these days, and does allow for adjustment noseward or tailward depending on where you want your stance over that foil or on the board here. And this little reference chart is quite nice to show you kind of a reference to where you like to put that foil. Moving onward into the Duotone Free 4'1". This one is what we call a twin tip style construction, meaning it has a wood core, side walls, and is a harder rail with a thinner design here. So this one sits a little deeper in the water when you're board starting. Obviously, it's a little bit more resistant to dings and travel kind of abuse, and also can really be used as kind of a strapless skimboard style board when you do not have the foil on, which is kind of a cool option. Compared to other twin tip style hydrofoil boards, the key on this one is the thickness. Underneath your feet, it's very thick and rigid and reinforced, so all that energy is transferring into the foil rather than slopping around like a wet noodle. Really, out of all the twin tip style foil boards, this is the only one I personally enjoy riding at my 200-pound weight. All the other ones just kind of feel sloppy and flexible underneath your feet, but this one remains really rigid under your feet where the foil is, and it thins out towards the nose to really reduce that swing weight. It really whips around fast and doesn't have any additional weight up here where you don't need it because you're not standing or supporting a foil here. As I had mentioned, I like to ride it without the foil as well. Sometimes I'll go out in these foot hooks here and ride it like a skimboard. It's tons of fun in shallow water and small waves, doing strapless tricks and stuff like that. One thing I will say about this board is that the foot hook mounting positions, or your foot strap mounting positions, are maybe a little bit too far tailward for some hydrofoils. So depending on which foil you're using, that may or may not be a great position. As you can tell, I ride primarily large foils. The mast comes out here, and I like to put my foot hook in that front position rather than in these here, so that it gets my foot a little further forward. But most people are going to ride a board kind of like this, strapless anyway, so really not too much of a consideration. As you can tell with the cork deck, this is kind of unique. It doesn't suck a lot of water, so it keeps the weight light, and it's a really positive, direct feeling to your foil, so you're not squishing in and out of that traction pad when you're transferring energy. So it's real direct feeling, almost like a skate deck, which is really cool. Now, the differences between these boards might seem minimal. One's twin tip construction, one's a surf style construction. This one's a little bit more buoyant and thick. This one has tracks. This one has a fixed mounting position, which we should note is 90 by 165. It can only take hydrofoils with a mounting pattern of 90 by 165, whereas this one is going to adapt to anything with a plate system. So if you don't have 90 by 165, this one would be the choice. Otherwise, you'd have to look into a different hydrofoil plate or hydrofoil to mount to this one. The width is another consideration here. We're at 17 and 5/16 and 17 and 5/8. Really, not a whole lot of difference. 4'1", 4'3". Again, not a whole lot of quantifiable difference there. So really, we have two similar boards, two different constructions, and that's where things kind of start to get real different. So the pace is going to be a little bit more surfboard feeling, a little bit more damp and fluid feeling underneath your feet, whereas the free is really direct. You'll feel every little bump, but you'll also be able to transfer every tiny bit of energy directly from your feet into the foil and get that really, positive direct feedback. So both of these are excellent boards. Really, it's a hard time to choose between the two. If you're looking for something that's going to sink in the water and board start a little easier, the free is really nice. It's also quite durable for travel and obviously very thin. If you're after something that can adapt to any foil and have that traditional surfboard feel where it's kind of damp, the pace is going to be a great option, and obviously you can use it with any hydrofoil plate system, so that's a positive as well. As with all of our videos, go ahead and click the eye icon in the upper right hand corner of the screen. That's going to take you to our Foil Boarding Knowledge Center. That's actually been reorganized lately and is a lot more searchable, which is great, so jump in there and peek around. It's going to give you more information about these boards and allow you to check into their product pages to look at even more details between the two of them. As always, give us a thumbs up if you appreciated the video, share it with a friend, and feel free to comment below with any questions or comments about our video. This has been Tucker with Mac Kiteboarding, and this is the Duotone Free and Duotone Pace hydrofoil board.